Mia never imagined that one letter, written late at night with trembling hands and a heart full of longing, would change her life forever. That winter was colder than any she had ever known, not because of the heavy snow that blanketed the town, but because of the silence that filled her home. Christmas lights sparkled across the neighborhood, children laughed and played outside, and families gathered around warm fires. But inside Mia's small apartment, Christmas felt like a fading memory. Ever since her mother passed away 2 years earlier, the holiday season had lost its glow. There were no more freshly baked cookies waiting on the table, no more stories whispered at bedtime, and no more gentle hands fixing the decorations on the tree. The warmth of Christmas had slipped away with her mother's last breath, and even though Mia tried to stay strong, the emptiness was too loud to ignore. Her father, Ethan, was doing everything he could just to keep their world from falling apart. He worked long hours, 3 different jobs, just to make sure the bills were paid and that Mia had what she needed. But every night, Mia saw the exhaustion on his face. She noticed how he rubbed his eyes, how his shoulders sagged, and how he stared at the empty space where her mother's favorite chair used to be. She wished she could take away his pain, even for a moment. She wished she could bring back the joy they once shared. And more than anything, she wished she could give him a reason to smile again. One cold December night, when the wind howled outside and the apartment felt colder than usual, Mia sat alone at the kitchen table. A single candle flickered beside her, casting soft shadows across the room. She stared at a blank piece of paper in front of her. She didn't want toys this year. She didn't want decorations. She didn't even want a big Christmas dinner. All she wanted was something simple, something impossible. She wanted her father to feel hope again. And so, she picked up her pencil and began to write. She didn't write to Santa. She didn't write to a friend. She wrote to her mother, the person she missed more than anything in the world. In her small, careful handwriting, she wrote, "Dear Mom, Christmas isn't the same anymore. Dad is trying so hard, but he looks so tired and so sad. I wish you were here to help him smile again. If you can hear me, please send us a little Christmas magic." When she finished, she folded the letter and placed it gently on the windowsill, right beside the candle's soft glow. She pressed her fingers to the glass, whispering, "Please." Then she went to bed, hoping her words would somehow reach the heavens. Hours later, Ethan returned from his late-night shift. His feet ached, his back hurt, and his heart felt heavier than ever. As he walked past the kitchen, he saw the candle and the folded letter resting beside it. Curious, he picked it up and read it. His breath caught in his chest. Tears blurred his vision. It wasn't just a letter, it was a quiet cry for help from the little girl who had already lost too much. He sat down, holding the letter against his heart, and whispered, "I'm trying, sweetheart. I promise I'm trying." But deep down, he feared he wasn't doing enough. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Mia rushed to the windowsill and gasped. The letter was gone. Not fallen, not blown away, but gone. Before Ethan could say a word, a sudden knock echoed through the apartment. When he opened the door, he froze. Their entire doorway was covered with envelopes, dozens of them tucked into the frame and piled on the floor. Neighbors stood in the hallway smiling gently, their faces warm with kindness. An elderly woman stepped forward, her voice soft and steady. "We found your daughter's letter. Outside. It touched all of us." Before Ethan could respond, she handed him 2 bags filled with groceries and homemade food. "You've always been a good neighbor," she continued. "It's time we returned the kindness." More neighbors stepped forward. Mrs. Delgado brought a box wrapped in silver paper. The Harris family carried a tray of Christmas dinner. Children whispered shyly as they handed Mia small toys, books, and handmade crafts. Every gift came with a smile. Every smile came with love, and every act of love made the apartment feel a little warmer. Ethan was overwhelmed. He tried to speak but his voice trembled. He had spent so much time trying to carry everything alone that he forgot people around him cared. Then came the biggest surprise of all. Mrs. Hayes, the building manager, approached with a soft expression and handed him a sealed envelope. When Ethan opened it, he froze. Inside was a note that read, "Your rent is covered for the next 3 months. From everyone in this building, with love." His knees nearly gave out. He tried to hold back tears, but they fell freely. He hugged Mia tightly, whispering, "Your mother heard you. She must have." Mia pressed her face into his chest, her eyes full of both tears and joy. She felt it too, something magical was happening. Throughout the day, their apartment filled with laughter, warmth, and music. Someone brought a Christmas tree. Someone else decorated it with handmade ornaments. A neighbor set up lights across the living room, and children placed candy canes on the branches. The air smelled of cinnamon and fresh bread. Old stories were shared, holiday songs were sung, and for the first time in years, Ethan and Mia felt surrounded by real family, not bound by blood, but by love. As evening settled, the apartment glowed softly. Mia sat beside her father on the couch, watching the magical scene around them. She whispered, "Dad, this feels like Mom sent us a miracle." Ethan kissed the top of her head. "Maybe she did," he said softly. "Or maybe," he paused, looking around at the smiling faces, "maybe this is what happens when people decide that no one should feel alone." Then something beautiful happened. Mr. Jenkins, the quiet old man who rarely spoke to anyone, approached Mia. He held a flat, neatly wrapped package. "I heard you like to draw," he said gently. "This belonged to my daughter. She would want you to have it." When Mia unwrapped it, she found a watercolor set, brushes, and a sketchbook filled with blank pages waiting for her imagination. She was speechless. She hugged the old man tightly, whispering, "Thank you. I'll treasure it." As the night went on, Mia realized something she had never understood before. Christmas wasn't about perfect decorations, about big dinners, or about expensive gifts. It wasn't even about her mother's absence. It was about love, the kind that shows up unexpectedly, the kind that fills the empty spaces, the kind that makes strangers feel like family. It was about community, about kindness, and about the quiet miracles that happen when people choose to care. When the last neighbor finally left, Mia placed the snow globe she had received on the windowsill, right where her letter had been. The soft glow of the Christmas lights reflected off the tiny angel inside, making it shimmer. She whispered, "Thank you, Mom," before curling up beside her father on the couch. Ethan wrapped his arm around her, holding her close. The room was quiet now, but not empty. It was filled with a warmth that went deeper than the blankets or the lights. It was the warmth of hope. The warmth of healing. The warmth of knowing they were not alone. That Christmas, Mia didn't get the perfect holiday she imagined. She got something even better. She got a miracle made of love, kindness, and the beautiful strength of human connection. And in her heart, she knew she would remember this Christmas forever. Not because everything went right, but because everything that truly mattered found its way to her, just when she needed it most.